Vamos a llamar a los dioses. Vamos a llamar a Tlaloc y a Quetzalcóatl para que nos ayuden a aprender español. Tlaloc will only bring us rain, though. ¿Cómo están? Muy bien. Qué bueno. Yo también. Tiene mucho que no nos vemos. Uy, ya tiene mucho tiempo que no nos vemos. Te extrañé mucho. I missed you so much. Bueno, espero que estén muy bien. ¿Sí? Espero que estén muy bien. A pesar de todo. Espero que estén contentos. Today, we're going to learn about the verb decir. Now, decir, you see that. Oh, decir, just one verb. So boring. Qué aburrido. Decir. Well, the reason I'm going to teach you this verb to say or to tell, in English you have two verbs, right? To say or to tell. And so when I was learning English, I remember it was hard for me to understand that you have to say, you told me, or you said to me. See, I used to say, you said me. And, oh, no, mi maestro de inglés estaba, no, me duele la cabeza con ese error. It was erroneous. It was a mistake. So, just as I suffered learning that verb, you're going to suffer learning this verb. Your suffering will be cut in half, though, because it's only one verb, and you have two in English and one in Spanish. So, I cut the suffering in half. No, that's not true. It's a very easy verb, but it's very useful. You used to say, how many times a day you use the verb to say or to tell? All the time. So you really have to master it. You really have to learn it. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use the verb, what is the conjugation in present, past, and future, and maybe if we have time, we'll learn the subjunctive, maybe if we have time. Very easy, the subjunctive of decir. Presente, of course. So, in this video, I'm going to teach you the conjugation in present, past, and future. I'm going to teach you how to use it because we use this verb to say with pronouns, with indirect object pronouns. That means me, te, le, les, nos, etc. So when you say, for example, me dijiste, you don't say dijiste me. See? That sometimes you make that mistake. Dijiste me. Like, no, dijiste me. Me dijiste. You told me. Me dijiste. But sometimes then you get confused. If it's like dijiste, if it's me dijiste, then when you say tell me, you say me dije, and like that's a mistake. So I'm going to teach you how to use this verb with the right object indirect object pronouns, with the right conjugation. That means in the time, in the tense you need it. And I'm going to teach you how to use this verb when you use commands. So we'll first go to the conjugation, then we'll go next we're going to go to some examples, and then in the examples I'm going to show you where we put the indirect object pronouns, and at the end we'll review how to use this verb in commands and órdenes, ¿no? Lo que le llaman imperativo, when you order. I mean, sometimes it's an order, sometimes it's just telling, tell me. It's not an order, you just want that person to tell you because you're gossipy. So, did you have a headache already? Well, I hope you don't, because we're going to have a lot of fun with this verb. El verbo decir. Ahora, estos son los pronombres de sujeto, los pronombres personales. Estos son los pronombres personales y aquí tengo el verbo en presente y aquí tengo el verbo en pasado, ¿sí? Pasado simple, lo que le llaman pretérito, ¿sí? No es imperfecto, es pretérito, pasado simple. Entonces yo digo, I say, I tell, yo digo, tú dices, you tell, you say, tú dices. usted, o ella, o él dice. You formal, like your boss, your grandfather maybe. Ella, she, él, he, say. Or you formal, she or he tell. Usted, ella, él dice. These three use the same verb. Dice. Usted dice. Ella dice. Él dice. Nosotros decimos. We say. We tell. Nosotros decimos. Decimos. Always remember to pronounce the E properly, like the E in Spanish. When you see an E, you think it's an E in English, and so you say decimos, decimos. It's not decimos, it's decimos. Decimos. Nosotros decimos. Ustedes dicen. Ellas dicen. Ellos dicen. Ustedes, you, a group of people. In Spain they use vosotros. Though vosotros is not used in Latin America. I've never learned it. So we say ustedes. Ellas, they, the group of women, y ellos, the group of men, dicen. These three, la tercera persona plural, the third person in plural, use the same verb, the same conjugation. Dicen. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a repetirlo. ¿Sí? ¿Estás conmigo? Are you with me? Vamos a repetirlo. Yo digo. Tú dices. Usted dice. Ella dice. Él dice. Nosotros decimos. Ustedes dicen. Ellos dicen. Ellas dicen. I say ellos and ellas last. It's because I grew up in like the masculine O, right? Ellos dicen, ellas dicen. Same thing. The order doesn't matter. What you need to know is that these three, tercera persona singular, this is called terceras personas singular, and this tercera persona del plural, usan la misma conjugación del verbo. Usted, ella, él, dice. Ustedes, ellas, ellos, dicen. Remember that if it's a group, a mixed group, then you use ellos. Unless maybe the majority will be ella. No, you say ellos if it's a mixed group. Muy bien. Ese es el presente. ¿Sí? El presente de decir. Muy bien. You have to memorize it. How? Well, the way it works, and an English teacher taught me this. And I think it works because I learned a lot of verbs. That doesn't mean that if I learned it that way, you have to learn it that way. But you have to memorize it once and try to repeat it in the next couple of days to check it twice and see if you actually retained all of it. Otherwise, you have to take another look. ¿Sí? Unas 3 veces. You have to see it 3 times. Make sure. Oh, yo digo, tú dices, él dice, ella dice, usted dice. Nosotros decimos, ustedes dicen, ellos dicen, ellas dicen. Ahora vamos a ir con el pasado. El pasado es diferente. We're going to say dich. Así como árabes. Vamos a sacar dich. ¿Sí? Yo dije. Yo dije. I said, I told. Yo dije. Tú, you, singular, tú dijiste. 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 No dijiste, no dijiste, no. Dijiste. Tú dijiste. ¿Todo junto? Dijiste, tú dijiste. Usted dijo. Ella dijo. Él dijo. Nosotros dijimos. Nosotros dijimos ayer que sí, que era muy buena idea. Nosotros dijimos. Ustedes dijeron. Dijeron. Ellas dijeron. Ellos dijeron. Sí, muy importante. La J. La J se pronuncia, la J, esta es la J, J, y se pronuncia como la letra, el nombre de la letra, the name of the letter is J, pero se pronuncia como, acuérdate que es como, ¿qué puede ser? Sí, como los árabes hablan así, ¿no? Pronuncian mucho esa palabra, ¿no? Como en la garganta, gutural. Yo dije, tú dijiste, usted, ella, él dijo, nosotros dijimos, ustedes dijeron, ellas dijeron, ellos dijeron. This is the past. This is said or told. This is the past. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have a conjugation for each person. So, see, the other thing is, you have to make sure you're pronouncing the vowels correctly. The I, di, yo di, es una I, como una doble I, di. La E es una E, como elefante, elefante, ¿sí? I, E. Esta es la I, esta es la E. Ay, mira qué desastre hice. Ahora, you see this disaster here on the board. It's like, well, that's very easy. I already knew that, Anna. Were you wasting your time teaching me that? Well, the reason is, I want to show you something. You have all these verbs and those conjugations, right? But then you have these indirect object pronouns. That's the scientific name that the doctors of the language have put it. So you have this me, te. Voy a hacer aquí un espacio, porque está muy lleno esto. Muy desastroso. Es que yo soy muy desastrosa. Le. Nos. Y aquí vamos a hacer otro espacio para escribir. ¿Entiendes? No te aburras, Date unas cachetadas para despertarles. Sí. Métele, nos, les. Métele, nos, les. Recuerda esto. Métele, nos, les. Métele, nos, les. Now, the thing is, decir is not a reflexive verb. It's not like, for example, to take a shower, which is a reflexive verb in Spanish. Yo me baño. I shower myself. Yo no me baño. I don't shower myself. That's why I smell bad. Por eso huelo mal. No es cierto, No te la crees, no es cierto. Pero es un ejemplo. Yo no me baño. But decir is not that verb where you are the recipient of your action. You are the one that enunciates the action, and you are the recipient of that action, right? Decir is a different verb. For instance, for example, think about it. You always tell something to somebody. Though maybe you can talk to yourself, but that's a different boss. That's a very different mental and speech structure. Yo hablo a mí mismo. That's different, see? I don't say, I say. You could say it. I say to myself. Yo me digo siempre. Today, you're going to be great. No? You could say it. But generally, this verb, when you say something, you tend to say that to somebody, right? You have a person that speaks or enunciates the sentence and a person who you are speaking to, the receiver, ¿sí? Of the gossip, let's say. Yo le dije a mi mamá que no viniera, that she shouldn't come today because too many people are here. That's it. in that sense, you really are not going to say yo me or tú te. You are going to mix and match these subjects with the indirect objects, with the person you're speaking, right? So, for instance, ustedes, I'm going to put here nosotros, but in chiquito. Nosotros. Nosotros. Ajá. Yo, chiquito, ¿no? Yo, tú. Tú, usted. Usted se abrevia, it's abbreviated like that. UD, period. Usted, ella, él. ¿Sí? So, for example, in English, you would say, I told you. I told you. I told you. And so if you see that sentence, then you see, I is yo, no? Yo. Told is yo dije. And you is tú. See, you're going to make that mistake. Well, I think this, okay, I'm going to write it in the middle, okay? And I'm going to erase this. Ajá, voy a borrar esto para explicarte, ¿ok? Para explicarte bien de qué se trata este tema. Porque si no, entonces vas a cometer errores. Y yo no quiero que cometas errores. Como dicen, no te quiero mandar a la guerra sin fusil. That means I don't want to send you to war without a gun. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared. I don't know, guns, too much violence. Let's keep it nice. Without guns and no wars. Muy bien. Entonces, yo te decía, when you say the sentence, I told you. I told you. And you see this sentence, you say, sí, ya, yo dijo tú. Vamos a ver. Yo dije. And this you too, no? Tú. Tú, the subject, the pronombre personal, the personal pronoun, always with an accent mark. Don't forget that. Muy importante, muy importante. Entonces, decimos, yo dije tú. No, mistake. Mal, tache. Un jalón de orejas, un jalón de greñas. Incorrecto, 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 incorrecto. ¿Sí? I'm going to teach you why. Yo dije. I told you. The receiver is not going to be put as a personal pronoun. It's going to be put as an indirect object pronoun. Too many fancy words, Anna. Yes, okay, forget it. You don't need to learn the fancy word. You remember I showed you yo, tú, él, ella, etc. See? And then we wrote the indirect object pronouns of these, the pronouns of these personal pronouns. Yo, me, tú, te, él, le. Muy bien. Now, I told you. I told you. I is the subject, is the person who is saying the sentence. Who is the receiver? You. So the receiver of the action, the receiver of the verb, of the gossip I told you, it's not going to be you. It's going to be te. Te. And it's not going to be placed here. It's going to be placed before the verb. As if I were saying, you told. See? I'm not going to say, I told you. It's like as if you were moving them in English, which doesn't make sense. But that's what we do in Spanish. Yo te dije. Here. Yo te dije. See? How pretty it is, how beautiful. Huh? Precioso. Yo te dije. I told you. Yo te dije. Now, let's do another one. Vamos a borrar otra vez con mi pizarrón miniatura. Ana, why don't you have your big board? Because times are changing. Es la cuarentena. Hay mucho COVID en México. Mucho COVID. Mucha gente tiene COVID. Mucha gente. El doctor. Todos. Entonces, es mejor no salir. ¿Entiendes? Por eso tengo mi pizarrón miniatura. Y mi caballo. Burro. Lo que sea. ¿Sí? Let's do another one. You told. Let's make one that is not so difficult, and then let's make one that is more difficult. ¿Sí? Let's increase the level of difficulty. Vamos a aumentar el nivel de dificultad. I told him. I told him. Now, him, right? Him is he. Or I told her. I told you. Formal in Spanish, right? Formal. Usted. Him is like, you're saying he, you're saying she, and you're saying you formal, that you don't have that in English, but in Spanish, remember usted, no? I told him. I told him. Remember. Oh, again, let's write this. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Usted, remember la abreviatura UD punto. Yo. Me. Te. Y le. Para los tres. Para él, para ella, para usted. It's what I explained to you here, but it wasn't clear because it's in English here, right? So you're like, what? I brought it to you here, aquí, para que sea más claro. Entonces, I'm saying, I told him. You see, I told him to stop talking. He was talking too much. I told him to shut up. Le dije. Say, I, yo. What is it? Him is he, no? Him, I told him. It's as if you were saying, I told him, but him is yo. Le dije. Yo dije él. Yo le dije. Yo le dije. Now, because this indirect object, the receiver of the sentence, is the same for he, for she, for you, formal, we really are saying, I told her, I told him, I told you, formal. There is one important thing you have to remember though. Sometimes, because these three persons use the same conjugation, sometimes when the meaning or the person you're talking about is not clear, you have to say, to reiterate, usted, just usted. Yo le dije a usted. Por ejemplo, imagine I'm talking to AMLO, no? The president of Mexico. And AMLO is the president, right? So I have to use the you formal. I would say, señor presidente, yo le dije a usted la vez pasada que tenía que hacer esto, that you had to do this. I was giving him some advice. Yo le dije a usted. Because le dije, if it's used in a context that is not clear, that it's that the person who are listening or the person you're talking this story is not clear, sometimes you have to use yo le dije a usted. I told you, formal. Yo le dije a usted. Yo le dije a usted. But if you're saying to somebody about why you told him or her, yo le dije. You're telling a story and you say, I told him, le dije, to go away, que se fuera. I told her, yo le dije. For he and she, you don't really need that. But for usted, sometimes you have to reiterate to be redundant. Yo le dije a usted. But if you're saying, I told you, Mr. President, yo le dije a usted. ¿Sí? Yo le dije a usted. But if you're talking to Pedro, and I'm telling Pedro, I told him, somebody else, him, he, a person, we know who the person is. I told her, the person, whatever the person is yo le dije. Simplemente yo le dije. ¿Entendiste? Muy bien. Ahora, cambiemos esto por she told me. That's a different level. Here there are a couple of things we need to know. She told me. She is the person who is enunciating the sentence, who is saying the sentence, right? The speaker, the person who says something. It's not the recipient of the message. It's the giver of the message. ¿Sí? El enunciante, el enunciador. She. So, it's a pronombre personal. She, ella. Ella told. ¿Sí? Ella. What is the verb for she? Bueno, tenemos yo, dije. Tú dijiste. Y ella dijo. This is the verb for she. Ella dijo. Now, I am the receiver. This me is equivalent to the yo, right? I am the receiver. But because I am the receiver of the action, the receiver of the message, I'm going to use this indirect object pronoun. I'm not going to say yo, ella dijo yo. That doesn't make sense. No tiene sentido. ¿Sí? No tiene sentido. Tienes que usar. Ella dijo. ¿A quién? To who? Ella dijo. What? To who? To who she said that? Yo, a mí. Entonces vamos a decir, ella me dijo. The receiver is going to use, the receiver uses these pronouns, me, te, le, nos, les. And the one who enunciates the sentence uses the personal pronouns, the subject pronouns, yo, tú, él. So for instance, if we have, for example, okay, they, a group of people, talk to who? Let's say to me, no? Ellos, they told me. They told me. See, instead of they told me. You lucky guys in English. I'm gonna kill a fly. Wow, ¿la escucharon? Saben, a mí odio las moscas. I hate flies. Now I live in Mexico. There are many flies. So I am always persecuting them. Okay. They told me. Okay. See, that this is the subject of the sentence. They told me. They, this is the subject. Who is the recipient? They told. To who? To who? To me. The recipient of the action is going to use these indirect object pronouns, which is me, te, le, nos, les. ellas, let's say they, it was the group of girls. Ellas me. What is the verb for ellas? Dijeron. Ellas me dijeron. Ellas me dijeron. They told me. Ellas me dijeron. ¿Sí? Sujeto, the verbo, el verbo, and you're going to ask the verb. To who? To who? To me. Now, for example, if this is they told us, right? Us. See? Us. They. And suppose they it's not ellas. Let's say it's a group of men. So it's ellos. Vamos a poner aquí ellos. Easy, ¿no? Ellos me dijeron. They told me. Ellos me dijeron. Muy bien. Now, they told us. Us. They, ellos, what? They what? Told. To who? To us. And then us, the receiver of the sentence, is going to be, yes, one of these, me, te, le, nos, les. Nos para nosotros, to we, les para ustedes, group, you, plural, ustedes, they, women, or a mixed group, ellos o ellas, nos, les, ¿sí? They told us, ellos. The verb for ellos en pasado, decir, dijeron, ellos dijeron. To who? A nosotros. To us, ellos nos dijeron. ¿Está claro? ¿Sí? ¿Más o menos? Bueno, otro ejemplo. Vamos a hacer el último ejemplo, ¿no? Ahora vamos a hacerlo en presente. Vamos a hacerlo en presente con she tells me. She always tells me. Let's say, she always tells me to shower in the morning. She tells me, let's say, she tells me to shower in the morning. Ella, bueno, espera. Sujeto, ella. She, ella. Ella tells, decir en presente, to tell in present for she. What is in Spanish? Dice. To who? To me. ¿Sí? To me. To who? You're going to ask the verb. To who? To me. To me es el objeto indirecto de yo. ¿Sí? She tells me, ella me dice. ¿Sí? Ahora queda claro. If you say, she always tells me, ella siempre me dice. O ella me dice siempre. You can say it both ways. Ella siempre me dice o ella me dice siempre. The order doesn't alter the meaning. In this case. Muy bien. Ahora, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Ahora, te voy a enseñar otra cosa. ¿Sí? We already review with a few examples, a few times, that ella me dice. What did she say to you? What did she say to you? ¿Qué te dijo? Ajá. ¿Qué te dijo? What did she say to you? ¿Qué te dijo? You can say, what did she say? ¿Qué dijo? ¿Qué? Con acento, porque es pregunta. ¿Qué dijo? What did she say? That's it. What did she say? Well, you see, you're saying, what did she say? Now, here, you know, is dijo is for either él o ella o usted, formal. But because we have a a conjugation for each person, right? We don't have to say, ¿qué te dijo ella? ¿Sí? ¿Qué te dijo ella? ¿O qué dijo ella? You can say it, but it's redundant because, oh, siempre dejo caer mi marcador. It's redundant, right? Because you say, ¿qué te dijo? ¿Qué te dijo ella? What did she say to you? Because she has a particular conjugation of the verb, then you don't need the subject pronoun, right? So you say, ¿qué dijo? What did she say? But if you want to say, what did she say to you? You're going to say, what did she say? To who? To you. Ah, to you. You is, aquí está, tú. And what's the indirect object? To who? Te. Que, y aquí, en medio de estas dos palabras, vamos a poner que te dijo. Que te dijo. Dice, what did she say to him, or to her, or to you, formal? Que, what did she say? To who? To him, or to her, or to you, formal. Que le dijo. Now, as I said, to you, formal, usted. Sometimes, often you gotta say que le dijo a usted, señor presidente. What did she say to you, Mr. President? ¿Qué le dijo a usted, señor presidente? Muy bien. Why did she say to who? To him, to her, to you, formal, usted. ¿Qué le dijo? What did she say to us? ¿Qué? What did she say to who? To us. Oh, us is nos, porque es el objeto indirecto de nosotros. ¿Sí? Nos, que nos dijo. Que nos dijo. What did she say to us? Last time, I was riding my bicycle. And a person was running. And she said something to me. I think she said that I shouldn't be on this side, as if it was a bicycle path, okay? It was a plain street. So she said that, something like, huh? ¿Qué me dijo? I thought to myself, ¿qué me dijo? It's not something not nice, because she had to whisper. Ella lo dijo muy así, muy despacito, ¿eh? No me lo dijo en la cara. She didn't say it to my face. No me lo dijo en la cara. Let's explain that. No me lo dijo en la cara. No me lo dijo en la cara. She didn't say it to my face. She said something like, bleh, 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 bleh. ¿Eh? Nasty people, ¿eh? Nasty people. No me lo dijo en la cara. No, this woman passed and she said something to me. And something that wasn't nice. No me dijo algo bonito. She didn't say something nice. Because like when you say something nice, you're not afraid of saying it. Ay, no. ¿Qué me dijo? Pero whatever she said, she didn't say it to my face. Because it wasn't something nice, I bet you that. No me lo dijo en la cara. No, who is the subject? Dijo. Dijo es el verbo para ella o él. In this case, it was a woman, but this verb could be for the three, right? Usted, ella o él. Ella dijo. It, whatever it was, it. What is the pronoun, the object pronoun that encompasses it in general? Lo. That's the it. She didn't say it to my face. To who? To me. Para yo. Who was the recipient of that fancy thing she said? The nasty thing. Yo es me. No me lo dijo. ¿Quién es? Who is the one who receives the action? I. And what is the indirect object pronoun? me. This is not me. This is me, como una vaca. Me. Ah, no, that's a borrego. Me, como un borrego. Una vaca le hace ma. No me lo dijo en la cara. She didn't say it. No. Didn't say it. She didn't say it to my face. What is the it? What is the nasty thing she said? That it is lo. That's the object that encompasses it. Whatever she said. Who is the recipient of that action? I. And what is the indirect object pronoun that the verb requires? Me. ¿Sí? Yo, me, tú, te. Now, for example, as I said, with reflexive verbs, it's very easy, right? Because if you are the one who says and the one who receives that same action, like bañarse, yo no me baño. Easy, because it's like yo no me baño. You're the receiver, the subject, and the object. But in this case, the subject is different than the object. The subject is the person who says the thing. And the receiver is going to be written or said as the indirect object pronoun. If you want to know more about indirect and direct object pronouns, you have to watch my video about that. And I'll post a link right now so you know which video it is, because you cannot find it sometimes. Now, there's another thing with the verb. Decir. Beautiful verb decir. Me encanta. ¿Por qué? Bueno, me gusta mucho el verbo decir porque yo siempre digo muchas cosas. Y mi mamá me dice muchas cosas. My mom tells me a lot of things. And I say a lot of things. And so it's one of the my favorite verbs because it implies communication. And I like communication. I like good communication. I like gossip too. Yes, I do. I enjoy gossip a lot about family affairs, about non-family affairs, about political issues. El chisme me encanta. Me encanta. Es una de mis cosas favoritas. Ay, ¿qué te dijo? Cuéntame. No, ¿en serio te dijo eso? ¡Ay, qué bárbara! ¿Sí? Ahora, let's say, tell me. You tell me, right? Dime. Tell him. Tell her. Dile. Tell us. Dinos. Tell them. Diles. It's kind of an order, right? Tell me, quickly tell me. Dime rápido, dime rápido. Last time my sister wants to tell me something, right? But my other sister was approaching. And I said, dime rápido. See? Because we didn't want the other sister to listen to it. Not because we are nasty. It's because it was a surprise. I said, dime rápido. See? Dile. Tell him or her. Dile. Tell him or tell her. Tell her. See, when my sister came, well, obviously I didn't say my sister, tell her, because it was a secret. See, but you could say it. Tell her. Tell him. Dile. Tell her. Dile. Tell her. Tell him. Tell her. Dile. But that's a command. That's an imperative. Orden. Dime. Dile. Dinos. Tell us. Dinos. Diles. Tell them. Them. A group of girls or a mixed group. Muy bien. Ahora, that is informal. This one, dile, tell him or tell her. But when you are in a more formal context, let's say, when you're in a more formal context, what you're going to say is, dígale. You're going to use diga, como en subjuntivo presente. Yo diga, que tú digas, que él diga. Diga. For example, When I used to work at a reception in a private school, long time ago, for a summer course, right? And I used to, a lot of important people used to come, teachers, but I never said, they weren't my friends, right? They were the teachers, so we had a formal relationship. When they approached the reception, I would say, dígame, tell me, but in a formal context, when you don't know the person, when there is not a personable approach to the other person, you can say, dígame. How can I help you? Dígame. ¿Sí? Dígame. Dime, my sister, my nephews, my friends, the people close to me. Dígame, it's a different context. It's a formal context. Dígame. ¿En qué le puedo ayudar? How can I help you? ¿En qué le puedo ayudar? That's a formal context. Dígame. Dígale, tell him or her. Maybe somebody wants to explain a situation, but I am not the person who can handle that. So I take this person to the right person, con la persona adecuada, and say, dígale. That's a formality. Formal context. Un contexto formal. No es tu amigo, no es tu hermano, no es tu hermana, ¿sí? Es un contexto formal. Dígale, dígame. Díganos, con acento en la I, díganos. If maybe you're a team and this person comes and tries to explain something, díganos, ¿en qué le podemos, podemos ayudar? ¿En qué le podemos ayudar? Díganos, coma, ¿en qué le podemos, esto es junto, ¿no? Podemos ayudar. Díganos, tell us, díganos, junto, díganos, tell us. How can we help you? We help, podemos, nosotros podemos. Nosotros podemos. Podemos ayudar. It's two verbs. It's like a perífrasis verbal. Two verbs together. ¿En qué le podemos ayudar? Can help. To who? To him or to her. ¿En qué nosotros le podemos ayudar? ¿Sí? Before the verb. Before the two verbs here in this case. ¿En qué le podemos ayudar? This is the verb for we. Podemos ayudar. Two verbs together. How can we help you? Can help who? Him or her. Le. ¿Sí? ¿Entiendes? Díganos, ¿en qué le podemos ayudar? Muy bien. Now, oh, this is so beautiful, isn't it? All this like decir and all the possibilities, todas las posibilidades que hay para usar el verbo decir. Es muy padre, muy bonito aprender algo nuevo. It's so nice to learn something new and to learn it to use the verb decir well with the proper objects to understand why, right? Now let's do a quick review of what we've learned so far. We said that the verb decir, first of all, we use it in three parts, let's say. The subject pronouns, the personal pronouns, the indirect object pronouns, and the verb. The verb is always going to be conjugated with the subject pronoun, with the personal pronoun. I, you, he, she, they, we. It's going to be always conjugated with that. And you're going to ask the verb, to who? You're saying that to who? And the recipient of that question, you're going to ask the verb, to who? The recipient is going to be used as the indirect object pronoun. That in this case are me, te, le, nos, les. ¿Ok? Muy bien, ¿entendiste? ¿Está claro? ¿Sí? El verbo va a estar conjugado con el pronombre personal. El verbo va a estar conjugado con yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ustedes, ellos y ellas. The verb is to say, to tell, decir. And you're going to ask the verb. To say, to who? ¿A quién? Ah, the answer is going to be the indirect object pronoun. Me, te, le, nos, les, which is me, you, him, her, you, formal, us, you, plural, and them. See? The question, to who? You're going to use the indirect object pronouns. Muy bien? Now let's make some examples. In a question, what? What did she tell me? Let's see. What did she tell me? We have what? ¿Qué es? ¿Qué? What? ¿Qué? What's the subject? The subject, the personal pronoun there. Ah, she. What did she? She. Ella. What did she tell me? Ella. The verb is going to be conjugated with ella. What is the verb for ella? Dijo. Dijo. To who? ¿A quién? To me. Ah, you are the indirect object pronoun. You are the answer to ¿a quién? To me. How are we going to end up? Que, me, que, número uno, question, word, que, me, número dos, dijo, dijo, why? Because that's the verb that is going to be conjugated with she. What did she tell me? Número tres, que, me, dijo, because dijo is with ella. Is that clear? Why did they tell us? What? ¿Qué? Did they? They es ellos o ellas, ¿no? Ellos o ellas. What did they? Ellos o ellas. If it's a mixed group, ellos. What did they tell us? To who? To us. Ah, que, número uno, que. Número dos, indirect object pronoun. Que nos, aquí, número dos, que nos dijeron, because they told us. Did they tell us? Ellos. Que, número uno, nos, to who, us, que nos, número dos, número tres, el verbo that is conjugated with they, tell us, dijeron, que, ¿dónde está? Nos dijeron. See, it's like a mix and match game, mix and match. What did you, plural, you guys, what did you tell him? Why did you tell him? What is the subject pronoun? You. What's the verb for that? Dijimos. To who? Dijimos. To who? To him. Él. Él es the indirect object pronoun. Le. Que, número uno. Número dos, the indirect object pronoun. The recipient. Le. Que le. And the verb conjugated with the subject, with the person who enunciates what was said. Que dijeron. Que le dijeron. Número uno, que le dijeron. Oh, they told us. Ellos nos dijeron. Ellos nos dijeron. ¿Sí? This is in general number 2. Weird. Muy bien. I'm going to read a text I wrote for you. It's a conversation I recently have. Hace mucho calor. It's a conversation I recently have with a friend. And I said, muy bien. I said, I went to see my doctor today. Hoy fui a ver a mi doctor. I said, my doctor, oh, fancy. My doctor. Fui a ver al doctor Canalizo. Es mi doctor, ¿no? Él es muy buen doctor. Ya está viejito, pero es muy bueno, el mejor doctor. Hoy fui a ver a mi doctor. My friend said, ¿Qué te dijo? What did he say to you? She could have said, ¿qué dijo? What did he say? But she said, ¿qué te dijo? What did she say? What did he say to you? What did he say to you? He told me that there was nothing wrong or very wrong, that it was only a cold. Me dijo que no tenía nada grave. Me dijo, he told me, me dijo, he told me, but because dijo, it's already conjugated with él me dijo, we don't have to put it, right? It's redundant. So a native speaker would say, me dijo que, which is, él me dijo que. But we're just saying, me dijo que no tenía nada grave. Que solo es un resfriado, that it's only a cold. And she said, but did you tell him all the symptoms you have? Pero, ¿le dijiste todos los síntomas que tienes? Pero, ¿le dijiste? Did you tell him? ¿Le dijiste todos los síntomas que tienes? But did you tell him all the symptoms you have? Pero, ¿le dijiste todos los síntomas que tienes? Sí, le dije cómo me sentía. Yes, I told him how I was feeling. Le dije cómo me sentía. Sí, le dije cómo me sentía. Yes, I told him how I was feeling. I told him everything. Le dije todo. I told him everything. Le dije todo. Now, when I'm saying le dije todo, right? We're saying le dije todo. Let me erase here. I said le dije todo. Because I'm saying le dije todo, le, as we said, could be for him, for her, or for you, formal, plural. But in this case, my friend and I know we're talking about my doctor. So, the doctor canalizo es a he, es él. Por eso dice, ¿le dijiste todo? Sí, le dije todo. I told him everything. Le dije todo. I told him everything. And my friend said, and did you tell your mom already? I said, and she said, ¿ya le dijiste a tu mamá? ¿Ya le dijiste a tu mamá? Remember, ya, it's a very important word in Spanish. You may want to watch my video about ya. In this case, it's ya, already. ¿Ya le dijiste a tu mamá? Have you told your mom already? ¿Ya le dijiste a tu mamá? A Spaniard would say, ya le has dicho. Ya le has dicho. ¿Ya le dijiste a tu mamá? Decimos. Y yo dije, no, no le he dicho. No, I haven't told her. No, todavía no le he dicho. I haven't told her yet. No, todavía no le he dicho. I haven't told her yet. And my friend said, pues dile. Pues dile. Ana, dile. My friend used a command. She said, pues dile. In this case, it's more a suggestion. But in the speech, it's, well, tell her. It's kind of an order. That's why she said, pues dile. She said, pues dile. Remember what I told you, the commands? Dile. Because we are friends, we're using the casual one, not the formal I told you, right? The one that you use with your boss or with somebody who you don't know. Dígale. Pues dile, she said. I said, well, she's going to tell me what she usually tells me. That I go with her doctor. Well, ella me va a decir, I said, ella me va a decir lo que siempre me dice. Que vaya con su doctor. She's going to tell me, ella me va a decir lo que siempre me dice. What she usually tells me. Que vaya con su doctor. Me va a decir lo que siempre me dice. Que vaya con su doctor. What did she say? Que vaya con su doctor. But I don't want to go with her doctor. Pero no quiero ir con su doctor. ¿Por qué? Su consultorio, his office, consultorio is the office for a doctor specifically, porque su consultorio está muy lejos. I'm not saying es muy lejos. I'm saying está muy lejos porque it's a location. And with location we use estar. Porque está muy lejos. Su consultorio está muy lejos. Consultorio is the office for a doctor. Doctor's office. Su consultorio está muy lejos. And my friend said, well, I say you go with a specialist. She said pretty much, bueno, yo digo que mejor vayas con un especialista. She said, well, I say you're better off with a specialist. She said, pues yo digo, that's a very common thing in Spanish to say, yo digo que sí. I say yes. Yo digo que no. I don't think so. Yo digo que no. Yo digo que no. I don't think so. We don't say, yo no pienso eso. Maybe it's like more like, yo digo que no. Yo digo que no. She said, yo digo que, I say that, you're better off with a specialist. You better go with a specialist, she said literally. Yo digo que mejor vayas con un especialista. And I said, yes, that's what my brother told me. Sí, eso me dijo mi hermano. Yes, that's what my brother told me. Sí, eso me dijo mi hermano. Muy bien. So here there are 3 things that you can learn, right? My friend is saying, we're all saying, ¿qué te dijo? Bueno, él me dijo que. He told me that. ¿Qué le dijiste? What did you tell him? ¿Qué le dijiste? No le dije nada. I didn't tell him everything. ¿Qué le dijiste? Tell him. Tell her. Dile. Dile. So she said, ¿qué te dijo? ¿Qué te dijo? Very common question. ¿Qué te dijo? What did he, what did she tell you? ¿Qué te dijo? What did she, what did he tell you? ¿Qué te dijo? He told me whatever. Él me dijo que mejor, que no tenía nada grave. He told me I didn't have anything very grave. Very bad, very erroneous with me. There's not something. ¿Qué le dijiste? She said, and what did you say? Okay, con acento. ¿Qué le dijiste? What did you tell him? What did you say to him? ¿Qué te dijo? What did he, what did she tell you? He said, él dijo que, whatever. And what did you tell him? Or what did you tell her? ¿Qué le dijiste? Mira nada más, un error aquí tengo. ¿Qué le dijiste? No le dije nada. ¿Qué le dijiste? No le dije nada. ¿Qué te dijo? What did he, what did she tell you or said to you? What did he tell you or what did he said to you? ¿Qué te dijo? And what did you say? ¿Y qué le dijiste? And what did you say? ¿Y qué le dijiste? Muy bien. Another good thing here is like, I haven't told her. No le he dicho. I haven't told her. I haven't told him. No le he dicho. I haven't told her. I haven't told him or her. No le he dicho. If it's my mom, no le he dicho. If it's a doctor, no le he dicho. Because it's him or her. Muy bien, no le he dicho. And she said, you better go with a doctor. Es mejor. Yo digo que mejor. I say you better go with a specialist. Que vayas. It's a suggestion. It's a subjunctive. Que vayas. Yo digo, but that's a more complicated topic, so we won't see it here. Consultorio is the doctor's office. Muy bien. I think we are done for today. It was a long class, but I hope you learned a lot more about the verb to say or to tell, decir. Remember, it's very important that you learn that verb in present and in past, because especially in past, because we are asking always so many questions about the past. Huh? ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué hiciste? What did you say? What did you? It's like imagine how many times you use the verb in past to say. What did you tell? What did you say? Etc. So we use that verb a lot. Very easy. Dice yo le voy a decir. It's very easy that you learn the future, right? The future, we say yo voy, tú vas, él va, nosotros vamos, Ustedes van. Ellos van, ellas van. Ajá. A decir. Voy a decir algo. I'm going to say something. Voy a decir algo. Vas, lo mismo. A decir. Va a decir. He, she, usted, formal. Va a decir. Going to say. Or tell. We are going to say. We are going to tell. Vamos a decir. They are going to tell. Van a decir. Van a decir. Ellos van a decir. I'm going to tell him. Yo le, aquí primero, antes del verbo de ir en futuro, antes del verbo, yo le voy a decir to him, to her. Let's start in order. Okay? Say, I'm going to tell, I can't say I'm going to tell myself, right? But you say, she's going to tell me. Ella me va a decir. Ella va a decir. To who? To me. So, we're going to say me va a decir. But if you say, she's going to tell him. She's going to tell you. You, singular, casual, informal. Ella te va a decir. Okay? Now she's going to say, she's going to tell him or her. Ella le va a decir. She's going to tell us. Ella nos va a decir. Separate words, right? I don't have much space. So, nos va a decir. Ustedes. You're going to tell, she's going to tell you. Ella les va a decir. Todavía, les va a decir. Les va a decir. She's going to tell you. And to them, women or men, the same. Ella les va a decir. Now, I'm going to tell you. You, de tú. Singular, casual. Yo, te, porque the object, right? Like, to who? To you. Te voy a decir. Why? Because the subject, it's me. Yo, right? Yo voy a decirte. Yo. Te voy a decir. Te va a decir. Etc. See? You're going to say all these. Te voy a decir. Él me va a decir. Yo te voy a decir. Yo te voy a decir. Yo le voy a decir. Yo les voy a decir. Pero ella te va a decir. Because the verb to go, te va a decir. Él te va a decir. He's going to tell you. Te va a decir. He's going to tell them. Ella les va a decir. Va, because the subject of the sentence is she. The verb is going to tell, going to say. Voy a decir. To go and to say. Voy a decir. And what is the recipient of that? That is the indirect object pronoun. Me, te, le, nos, les. Muy bien. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I was really very happy to teach you this verb. Make sure you learn the conjugation. Make sure you learn in what order you're going to put the indirect object pronoun. Make sure that you're going to conjugate it with the correct subject, the person who says the thing. And make sure you're asking the verb to who, and the answer is going to be the indirect object pronoun. And the indirect object pronoun is going to be one of those, right? I hope you liked my lesson. If you like my lesson, subscribe to my channel. Be safe. Cuídate mucho. Be safe. Cuídate mucho. Be very safe. Cuídate mucho. Take care of yourself. Cuídate mucho. Te mando un gran abrazo. I send you a big hug with same distance, con su sana distancia. Un abrazo de lejos. y que la pases muy bien. To have a very good evening day. Here is the evening. See, it's getting dark now, but espero que estés muy bien, que tengas una bonita tarde, una bonita noche, una bonita semana o un bonito fin de semana. Muchas gracias y nos vemos muy pronto, en menos de lo que canta un gallo. Adiós.